What's up guys, Mattitude here, back at it again with another video. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I am going to be ranking every melee enchantment that you can get in the game on a tier list. Enchantments to Minecraft Dungeons is like cheese to pizza. Without it, it's not any good. The enchantments on a weapon can make or break it. I'd rather have a decent weapon with really good enchantments than a great weapon with really crappy enchantments. And there's a lot of enchantments out there you can get, so that's why I'm going to be ranking them today. Now, I've never done this yet, but there's a lot of other things I can rank in the game just like this. So if you guys like this video, leave a like, show some love, and I'll make some more. Let me know what you think I should do next. Also, you guys have a lot of opinions on this game. So if you agree or disagree with anything in this video, let me know in the comments below and we can settle it there. Okay, starting us off, we have Ambush. With Ambush, attacks on mobs that are not actively targeting you deal more damage. This is a pretty niche enchantment. It really only works if you use Shadow Form a lot, but it's kind of hard to get a good build that allows you to do that. That's why I'll be putting it in the middle in C. Next up on the list, we have Anima Conduit. With Anima Conduit, each soul absorbed grants a small amount of health. Now guys, this is one of my favorite enchantments. It is a good go-to for HP recovery, especially if you have a really good soul build. That's why this one is going up all the way to the S tier. Next on the list is Artifact Synergy. With Artifact Synergy, using an artifact causes the next attack to deal bonus damage. This one is honestly something I haven't really used a whole bunch. I guess it could be good if you use a quick artifact like Boots of Swiftness all the time, but honestly I think there's a lot better enchantments out there you can put on your weapons. That's why this one is going in the E category. Next up we have Busy Bee. Busy Bee grants a chance for a bee to spawn after defeating a mob, with up to 3 bees joining your hero's side. Guys, I have never used this enchantment until the tower. I was forced to start using this enchantment because those were the only good weapons I was getting at the time. But guys, let me tell you, I really like this. I can't believe it took me this long to figure out bees are actually pretty OP in the tower. That's why I will be putting this up in the A category. Okay, now we have chains. With chains, you have a 30% chance to chain a cluster of mobs together and keep them bound for a short time. Guys, I see what they're coming with this when they put this in the game, but I just don't think anybody really uses it. Let me know in the comments if you use chains a lot, but I am going to be putting it in the E category as well. Okay, next up we have Committed. Committed allows you to deal increased damage against already wounded enemies. Guys, this is a great DPS enchantment for your weapon. All you have to do is damage the enemy a little bit, which you will be already doing, and you can deal up to twice the amount of damage you normally would. This is a must for DPS builds. That's why I'm putting this guy up in the S category as well. Next up, we have Critical Hit. With Critical Hit, it gives you a chance to inflict critical hits dealing triple damage. You heard that right, triple damage. Guys, this is a must-have for all melee weapons. I just don't see why you would not be using this. This one is going straight to the S tier. Okay, next up we have Dynamo. With Dynamo, it adds damage to the next attack after rolling. Guys, I just never used this enchantment before. I just never found a reason to use it since I don't roll a whole lot. I mean, I can't believe you would have to roll every time to get a little boost of damage on your next hit. Does not make sense to me. Too much work. I am putting this all the way in the F category. Okay, after Dynamo, we have Echo. With Echo, some attacks can be followed up by another attack in quick succession. Now, I understand that this might help your DPS a little bit, but sometimes this can get a little annoying. Like if you want to stop attacking for some reason, but then this forces you to attack again in quick succession. I don't know, I just found it kind of annoying. That's why I'll be putting it in the D category. After that, we have Enigma Resonator. With Enigma Resonator, you have a chance to deal triple damage based on the number of souls the hero has. Guys, this is another really good one, especially if you have a nice soul build. Not everyone uses soul builds, so that is why I'm going to be putting it in the A category. Next up, we have Exploding. With exploding, mobs explode after they are defeated. I've used this a couple times. It's really fun to see when you have a bunch of smaller mobs in one area and they just keep exploding, and it can have some pretty good knockback and damage, but it's just not one of the top tier enchantments in my opinion. That one deserves the B category. After that, we have Fire Aspect. With Fire Aspect, you set mobs on fire for 3 seconds, dealing damage over time. This is very lackluster. I have tried to use this a couple times thinking it's going to be so good, but I am always disappointed. You just barely do any damage at all. I am thinking this is definitely just going to go in the F category. After that, we have Freezing. With Freezing, you slow mobs after a hit for 3 seconds. This one is a very good enchantment. It's a solid enchantment. It is always helpful to slow down mobs and their attack speed. That is why I am going to be putting it in the B category. Next up, we have Gravity. With Gravity, this effect pulls mobs in range towards the weapon's impact point. Now, I just never used this. I never found a reason to use this. Usually, I'm trying to run around mobs and not get them in my way, and this enchantment just puts them in my way. That's why I'm going to be putting this in the E category. Next up, we have Guarding Strike. With Guarding Strike, after defeating a mob, gain a temporary shield that reduces damage by 50%. This is a tank enchantment. Now, I've only used this a couple times, but man, do you feel like a tank when you use this. I highly recommend using this if you're having a tough time in a certain situation. Putting this one up in the A tier. Next up, we have Illager's Bane. With Illager's Bane, you deal extra damage towards Illagers. Makes sense, right? Because of the name. I've used this a few times, especially in the tower. Illagers, for some reason, are, I think, the toughest group of mobs, so it can be very useful in certain situations. That's why I'll be sticking this one in the B tier. Next up, we have Leeching. With Leeching, defeating a mob heals the hero by a small portion of the mob's max health. This is a very good healing HP recovery enchantment. Now, it's better in certain scenarios than others. For example, I would not want to use this against a boss, but I would like to use this against a pack of low level enemies. Putting this one in the A tier. Next up, we have Looting. With Looting, you increase the chance of mobs to drop consumables. Now, I think a lot of people sleep on this enchantment. I use it a lot in the tower because consumables can really help you, especially if you're dealing double damage all the time. I think a lot of people hate on this one, or at least forget about it too much, but I think it is worth a B tier. Next up, we have Pain Cycle. With Pain Cycle, attacking drains player's life to grant 1 stack of Pain Cycle. At 5 stacks, Pain is channeled into the next attack. This one sounds like it involves a lot of math. I've used it a couple times, but really, I just don't think it is amazing, especially when it takes away from your health. I'd rather have a critical hit enchantment than this. This I am putting in the C category. After that, we have Poison Cloud. With Poison Cloud, you have a 30% chance to summon a Poison Cloud that deals damage to enemies in an area for 3 seconds. This one, like Fire Aspect, is pretty lackluster. I just wish that you could deal a little bit more damage with this. Maybe with certain builds you can increase the poison damage output, but for me, it's worth a D tier. Next up, we have Prospector. With Prospector, you find more emeralds on fallen enemies. This one obviously is a pretty niche enchantment. I would only use this if I was going for emerald farming. Since it's so niche, not good nor bad, I'm going to be putting it in the C category. After that, we have Radiance. Now, this might be a lot of your guys' favorite enchantment, and for good reason. With Radiance, you have a 20% chance to spawn a circular area that heals all allies within it. This, paired with a very fast hitting weapon, can heal high amounts of HP very quickly. But if you have a slow weapon, this is not going to be as effective. Thankfully, there's a lot of fast hitting weapons out there that are very good, which is why I am putting Radiance in the S tier. After this, we have Rampaging. With Rampaging, after defeating a mob, there is a 10% chance to increase attack speed by 50% for a short time. Rampaging is another one of my favorite / must-have enchantments for your weapons. Increasing your attack speed by 50% is basically increasing your DPS by 50% as well. Not only is Rampaging good for damage output, but it also increases the amount of knockback you have on your weapons, so that way you can keep those pesky illagers away for a little bit longer. Rampaging definitely deserves an S tier slot. After this, we have Refreshment. With Refreshment, defeating a mob reduces health potions cooldown, allowing the player to heal more quickly. This one, again, is a pretty niche and forgettable enchantment. I mean, yeah, that sounds pretty good, but hey, why would you use this when you can have Radiance or Anima Conduit where you just get tons of health all the time? That's why I am putting this in the E category. Next up, we have Sharpness. Sharpness allows your weapon to deal more damage, so it's just a straight damage increase. And at the highest tier, you can get up to 33% more damage all the time just by having this enchantment. This one is a very solid enchantment, and I recommend that anybody would use if you see it. Definitely comfortably sits in the A tier. After this, we have Shockwave. With Shockwave, the last attack in a combo launches a shockwave damaging enemies. This enchantment is going to increase your DPS as well as knockback and range for your weapon. It does a lot of different things for you, and I definitely think a lot of you guys really like it. I am putting this one up in the A tier as well. After this one, we have Smiting. Smiting increases damage against the undead, so it's basically like Illager's Bane, but just for undead. There is a lot of undead in this game, but honestly, they are probably the easiest category of mobs you can face, so that's why I'm putting this one in the D category. Next up, we have Soul Siphon. With Soul Siphon, when hitting an enemy, you gain a 10% chance to grant extra souls. This one is another very niche enchantment for soul builds. That's why I'm going to be putting this one in the B category. After this, we have Stunning. Stunning, it gives you a chance to temporarily stun enemies. Very fitting with the name. Stunning enemies can be very helpful, especially in the tower. It's definitely not the best enchantment, but it's a solid one to have if you have an extra slot or if everything else you have is pretty trash. Putting this one in the B category. Next up, we have Swirling. With Swirling, the last attack in a combo performs a swirling attack, damaging nearby enemies. This one, like Shockwave, also increases your area damage and your DPS output, as well as knockback. It is a very good one to pair with certain weapons. That's why I think it deserves a spot right next to Shockwave. After this, we have Thundering. With Thundering, you have a 30% chance to summon a lightning strike that damages nearby enemies. This one is just pretty fun to use. I haven't used it a whole lot, but man, it's pretty fun to see some creepers flying across the screen because you threw down a lightning bolt. This one I'm putting in the C category, but next time you use it, make sure you thank Zeus. After this, we have Void Strike. With Void Strike, attacking a target applies a damage multiplier that rises steadily to a max level, then is removed. With Void Strike, you can deal massive amounts of damage. I always put it on if I see it on a weapon, and that's why it deserves a seat in the S tier. Last but not least, we have Weakening. With Weakening, the player's attacks decrease the attack damage of all nearby enemies for 5 seconds. This one is another great one to have, especially against bosses. I always try to put this on if I see it, but I don't think it is the best enchantment. This one, again, takes a nice seat in the A tier. Well, there you have it. All of the melee enchantments you can get in Minecraft Dungeons on a tier list. What do you think? Do you agree with my tier list? And what's your favorite melee enchantment? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you want to see more videos just like this one, make sure to smash that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.